This episode of Android Weekly is brought to you by Domain.com. So you know how most of you were busting at the seams at the thought that Google might be creating their own wireless carrier? Yeah, think about it. The Nexus of carriers. Sounds sweet. But according to the Wall Street Journal, that Google carrier will only apply to Nexus 6s. Ay. According to people familiar with the matter, Google's wireless service may end up launching by the end of March, which would be much sooner than we expected. Additionally, the report states that the new wireless service would only be compatible with the Nexus 6 and no other Android devices. The report states, and I quote, "The service, designed to switch among Wi-Fi and cellular networks, will initially be available only on the latest Nexus 6 smartphone designed by Google and made by Motorola Mobility, a former Google unit now owned by China's Lenovo Group," said two people familiar with the matter. One of those people said the service won't work with older Nexus devices such as the Nexus 5. But you lucky Nexus 6 owners, don't get your hopes up too soon. The sources claim that while there's potential for the service to launch in the coming weeks, the start might be delayed. Also, the service will reportedly combine both T-Mobile and Sprint networks with available Wi-Fi networks in the hopes to obtain the best signal from any location. But don't fret too much, because if this proves successful, Google has a good reason to expand this capacity to other phones. But you don't need a Nexus 6 to take advantage of Google's new car insurance comparison tool. Google has just introduced a new tool to help you save money the next time you want to buy car insurance. It's called Google Compare for car insurance and will display both national and local insurance providers in order to get you the best deal. There are only 14 partners on board with the comparison tool thus far, but the company hopes to add more in the near future. In explaining the new tool to car insurance providers, Google states, "You can highlight what makes your business unique, whether that's an A rating in customer service or better discounts for safe drivers. And when your users adjust their deductible or add additional cars to their quote, you can show updated pricing that matches their needs. They can buy their policy online or over the phone through one of your agents." Now, for the time being, this service is only rolling out to Californians, but we'll hope to expand to other states very soon. Now, for those of you who are fans of Sony-designed smartphones like I am, will be disheartened to know that Sony may be pulling out of the smartphone market altogether. No matter what part of the world you live in, Sony is likely a household name. For the past several decades, the Japanese megacorporation has dabbled in a variety of talking points, ranging from consumer electronics to healthcare and biotech. Recently, however, the company has fallen on some hard times, and in the past few years, its leadership has made some radical changes. In 2014, Sony made an exit from the PC business, selling off its well-known PC brand to a Japanese investment firm. After pulling the plug on its PC efforts, Sony stated that it would shift its focus towards smartphones and tablets. Here we are a little over 12 months later, and the company's CEO is making an even more drastic move, recently announcing that the company will no longer pursue profits in smartphone sales. A far cry from Sony's declaration last February. Last February, Sony's CEO said that he would not rule out the possibility of exiting the smartphone market altogether. But it gets worse for Sony fans, because if you have a Sony device that's not an Xperia Z series device, you are not getting Lollipop at all. But it's not all bad news for Sony. They're still making great, sleek, sexy devices, in this case in the form of a tablet. And the Z4 tablet is getting a lot of attention. I talked about it last week. And that thing is so thin and light, it floats. Almost. The newly announced Xperia Z4 tablet may not look hugely different from its predecessor, but Sony has spent considerable effort trimming down all the excess space and fat from this new tablet, making the Z4 tablet one of the most lightweight on the market. How lightweight, you ask? Well, light enough to be carried off by a few helium-filled balloons, it seems, as Sony has shown off in its latest promotional video filmed in beautiful Barcelona. Not only can the Z4 tablet swim, but the bugger can fly too. Well, more like float. Now, if that's not scientific enough for you, the Z4 tablet is 6.1 millimeters thin, compared to the 6.4 millimeters from the previous generation, and weighs just 389 grams. This makes it a full 50 grams lighter than the Z2 tablet, and considerably lighter than Samsung's similarly sized 10.5-inch Galaxy Tab S. And in the never-ending battle to find the perfect domain name, my new favorite is Jayce the .shiksha. I don't even know if that's inappropriate or not, but let's run with it! Because it's not just about .com, .net, or .org anymore. You now have the opportunity to name your site or build your brand in ways never before possible. Choose from a growing list of more than 200 domain name extensions like .ninja, .nyc, .expert, or .club, and in this case, .shishka. All available now at domain.com. And the guys at domain.com want to hook our viewers up with a great offer. Save 15% off domain names and web hosting when you use our coupon code Android at domain.com checkout. Don't forget, 15% off when you use our coupon code Android. When you think domain names, think domain.com. Thanks for watching Android Army. My name is Jayce. Love to connect with you right here on Google Plus or Twitter like always. I want to give credit to my great Android Authority staff. You can look at the links below in the show descriptions if you want to get into detail on the topics that I discussed today. Don't forget about my brothers, my brethren in Android, Joss, Joe, and the Tech Ninja, Kevin, Lonnie, Chris, Gary, Ash, and Taylor, all working real hard to deliver the very best Android content on the web. I shall see you next week on Android Weekly.